Hello, Jamie from Inky&Scrappy, sharing with you today my Get Creeping on Halloween make for April 2024, along with my Craft Roulette number 212 challenge. I think it's my 27th entry. Anyways, I'm going to start with some ink smushing here. So I'm using Lumberjack Plaid, some Crackling Campfire Fossilized Amber, Rustic Wilderness, Prize Ribbon, and of course purple and Villainous Potion, because what other purple is there for Halloween but Villainous Potion? I'm going to splatter those a little bit with water. So I took out my Tim Holtz, I guess it's the media, I don't know if it's the mixed media mat that goes on the glass craft mat, but you can buy it separately as well. I actually lost my original one and bought a separate one, and then I found, of course, my original one when I cleaned my office last 2 weeks ago. Anyway, it doesn't look like it anymore. So I'm just kind of smooshing, and I probably did it wrong on my colors here. I probably should have put them like in a straight line. So I made it a little more difficult on myself, but ultimately it worked. So I'm kind of just bending my paper to get a line. I didn't want big color blotches. I wanted them to be kind of in Roy G. Biv in rainbow order. And, you know, so, and instead of pulling out my drying tool, I just kind of shook it to dry it a little bit. It didn't have to be totally dry. I just didn't want it to totally run together. And I wanted it to have a little bit more of that character that those distress oxides give when you layer them and smush them. So that was, you know, kind of how I did that one. So it's just done on some, let me think about it, some Bristol smooth cardstock, and then of course I brought in that Skulls 3D folder, embossing folder from Tim Holtz, and ran that through my Sizzix Vagabond 2. And then I'm just coming in with some black soot distress oxide ink and a blending foam. All I am doing is rubbing this back and forth. I'm not really doing circles. I'm just kind of rubbing it lightly across the surface so those raised images, or the raised part of those images, are going to get that black on them. So it kind of just makes them stand out a little bit more. And then I'm bringing in a new to me, I guess it's a new to me, Iridescent Medium, Newton, and I'll have it listed below. I picked it up at, you can get it at Dick Blick, but I picked it up at Michael's with like a 30% off coupon. So it was like $10 for the huge bottle. But it adds that iridescent shimmer and shine that I love so much. But you can mix this with watercolors and other mediums and get those pearlescent mica looking gorgeousness. Anyways, Winsor Newton and Winsor, I don't know. It's called Iridescent Watercolor something. I'll list it below, I promise. I'm bringing in a Scare Bear here. I know, she's not really. So I'm bringing in the, I think it's Beary icons from Ink Road Stamps, and then of course there was a skull. So I had already colored it prior to this, and then I did need to get my stretchy pants out to make it fit into Craft Roulette. And so the first week in April is Spider, Be Nice to Spiders week or something like that. Yeah, don't ask. I don't make the rules. I just try to break them. And so that was, I figured if he was holding spiders, he was being nice to them. Yeah. So that's how he ended up with some spiders. Plus he's Scare Bear, so I guess he'd probably scare anybody that's afraid of a spider. So that's how I went with that one. And so I wanted to do kind of just a base, I don't know, like a background area that was going to kind of give him, I guess, footing, grounding. There we go. I needed something to ground him to, because he looked funny just sitting on top of the rainbow colored skulls. And so I decided to bring in this new to me, I think it's a colorized graveyard die set from Tim Holtz. Of course, I picked it up on clearance after Halloween last fall, and I had yet to use it. But I kept it really simple. I didn't actually do the layers. I cut them out of some gray scrap cardstock. And then I brought in the little grounding elements here from MFT. I don't know. It was a free with purchase at some point in time in the past. So I brought that one in to kind of give him some ground to stand on. And then I'm going to, I set him off to the side because I wanted the grave to kind of show a little bit. But then I don't know, I think I should have centered him a little bit more. But, you know, it is what it is. So for my letters on this one, I really wanted some creepy looking letters. It really didn't happen because I didn't have anything in my stash. So I did bring in, there are the Halloween words dies from Sizzix and Tim Holtz. You know, like the Beware and the Wicked and all of those, I usually just make sure I can find all the letters that I need, and then I cut out those words and piece together whatever I want for my sentiment. I just love the style of letter and the size that it is, so I tend to use them a lot for this. Repurposing what I have on hand. And so I did decide to cut my A2 panel down just a little bit, giving it a quarter inch cut on the top and the bottom. And yes, you can see the little speckly flecks here, so the sparkly iridescence. So I'm just going to start, and I spaced them too close when I was adding them, which ended up working because you'll see how I fixed it. But I probably should have just taped it, you know, how I space them, throw a piece of washi over the top, flip it over, add all my glue, and then flip it on my project with the washi, and then it probably would have worked better, but it is what it is. Yeah. So I did just add the S in front of Care Bear to make Scare Bear. I thought it was punny and funny. You'll have to excuse me. I know. I'll see myself out. So I'm just, you know, painstakingly adding one at a time. My fingers weren't working. My little thingy wasn't working. It takes, yeah. Why does that take so long? I just don't get it. I did bring in one of the spiders. I want to say it's from Frightful Things, which is a Tim Holtz die as well. Die set. And so I just grabbed the spider from that one, cut him out of some holographic paper, and threw him in between the scare and the bear. And then I'm bringing in some score style tape. And then I just used that little bone, I don't know if it's a bone folder, but I suppose it is. So the little straight side of the bone folder there to kind of squish it onto that background. Those 3D, that's my biggest, I guess the hardest part about those 3D folders. They're so gorgeous, but they have very little room for adhesive to stick to your paper. I ended up going with the black cardstock base because I liked the black. I kind of pulled the black from the skulls and from the scare bear, and, you know, it just added to that creepy element today. So here is my card for a coworker, which I'm going to say is for my son because we work together and he gets my morbid gothic sense of humor, I guess. The rainbow color in the background definitely is where my kite colors are inspired by, as is the black, because we did see one that was rainbow and black while we were in Texas in February. And let's see, the April, of course, was the Be Nice to Spiders week, which is April 1st through the 7th. And the sparkle, or the shine, I think it's sparkle, right? The sparkle was my iridescence in the background. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. Keep getting inky. Go check out Craft Roulette and get creeping on Halloween. The description is down below. Please feel free to tag me in any of your Get Creeping on Halloween makes so I can see them and get creeping on your creep too. Have an amazing rest of your day. Bye!